Hi everybody, AJ from HerFitnessSolutions.com. So most of the information about my experiment is in the written part of the blog, but I wanted to also include these videos. So this video is about what happened over that 6-month experiment, just a little bit of a summary. I had to write a list because a lot of things happened. So, yes, I lost I started the experiment at 127 pounds. That was pretty normal weight for me day to day. And then at the end of the experiment, I was hovering between 114, 117. It kind of changed depending on all sorts of stuff, but that was the range. It was interesting because my whole life, I'd always been athletic. I had a very athletic look to my body. I'm not complaining about that look, and I definitely wouldn't complain about it after this experiment. I'd always had roommates that called me bubble butt because I had really developed glutes, and of course I had very athletic legs. So my whole life I never fit into skinny jeans ever. And at the end of this experiment, I fit into skinny jeans. I had back and legs. I had no butt anymore. It was the weirdest thing. I remember sitting down on a chair and being like, where the heck did my butt go? Well, my body fat percentage went up. So, that's an interesting thing that I think a lot of women probably wouldn't realize when you look at the pictures, but my body fat percentage went up. I think it's those pictures, like I said, I didn't anticipate on ever sharing this with anyone, so I apologize. I don't have the best pictures. And yeah, I'm skinny in that after picture. What you can't see in that picture is that I still had stubborn cellulite. It almost looked worse than it did when I was 127 pounds. I kind of had I don't want to... There was just areas around my thighs that looked very out of place, okay? You're looking at that picture, the after picture, and I look skinny and lean. I wish I had better pictures because you would really see I had cellulite on my butt, on my thighs, and that area just looked like it didn't belong to the rest of my body. So that was really interesting. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, there was one point during that where I was like, whoa, I fit into these jeans. That's never happened. I've never ever been to Guess Jeans and been able to put on a pair of those pants and actually get them over my quads. So stuff like that was kind of interesting. I think the most interesting part was that I missed my athletic look at the end of all this. I always remember that from this experiment. And let me go through the list of things that happened. So yes, I was fatigued. I noticed that right away. As far as my gut issues and stuff that I had in the past that had improved, none of that really came back too badly. I was actually pretty surprised about that, but yeah, I didn't really have any gut irritation or any I used to have kind of leaky gut and that kind of stuff. So none of that came back, so that was interesting. I was really irritable. I was turbo bitch sometimes. And I think that was just, those low calories, low fat, and not having proper refeeds, even though I was dieting down. My sex drive tanked pretty drastically. Oh, I got my acne back. That was nice. I got acne back not only on my face and my neck, but I had it on my chest and my back for the first time since high school. That was depressing. Because I was trying to learn to run. So, I was losing muscle mass, right? So muscle mass is what supports your joints, right? And then here I am learning to run 10 kilometers. I'm just pounding pavement. The combination of those two things happening simultaneously, whoa, that was a bad thing. I was getting therapy for my IT band and sciatica, and I was having major knee pain towards the end of the 6 months. And that was hard to deal with because I was a little bit worried. I'd made so much progress over the last few years recovering from sports, and that was the last thing I needed. So I actually stopped running before I stopped this experiment because I basically couldn't. Um, so my cardio at that point actually was just doing like a lot of like, I actually went to a lot of classes. It was weird. I went to classes for the first time in my life, but that's what I did. I lost the motivation to work out. Before this, I had strength goals, and my programming was so great, and the way I tracked everything, like I could, see my progress day to day, and without seeing that and getting weaker, like I really lost my motivation to go to the gym, which is weird because it's something I loved for so long, and I just had no purpose anymore. After that, like when this experiment was over, I always prioritized having strength goals in the gym because I don't know, just for me that's so much of it, and that's something that motivates me every day. Some of the really nasty things that started happening, I started having irregular periods. Lots of like spotting and just irregular periods, and that happened pretty quickly. I mean, within the first 2 months that started happening. And then my period stopped altogether. I actually didn't get my period back to the following year. It was early in the year, but it took I really had to focus on my nutrition. So yeah, I lost my period, and a part of that was, and I'm going to explain all this in the blog in the written part of, why these things happen. I'll give you guys some references. So not only did I not have my period, my hair was falling out in clumps when I would wash it or dry it. Even well, we had okay. I don't have a clean lady. I don't have a maid or anything like that. I mean, at this point, the owner of the house that I was living with, she hired someone to come in and clean all the time, and she even said to me, she said, "This is this little old lady." She said, you should go to the doctor because when I clean your bathroom, there's so much hair on the ground. My daughter went through the same thing, and she had a thyroid problem. And I was like, yeah, and I was embarrassed to tell her that I was doing an experiment and actually doing this stuff willingly. But anyway, that experiment, this ended quite quickly when this stuff started happening. I stopped this experiment. And this is something that is embarrassing to admit, but it's one thing that happened is I started fully getting a mustache. I remember seeing pictures and I was like, what's going on there? Like, what's on my face? Am I just outside a lot these days so I like have a tanned upper lip? And then I would go in the mirror in a really good daylight and be like, no, actually, this experiment has given me a mustache. A full coarse, I had like coarse dark hair growing on my upper lip. And to sum up this video, because like I said, I'll put the rest in the written part of the blog. This experiment ended in November. In the middle of November, I went on a trip to Hawaii. And I gained every single pound back in 10 days. And I didn't drink an ounce of alcohol. So, I don't think I went to Hawaii and I went crazy. I went to Hawaii and I didn't change that much. I just wasn't doing my cardio, and I mean, sure, yeah, I was eating more food for sure, but I wasn't like I went on a 10-day bender, and I came back from Hawaii 127 pounds. And that's my story.